Everybody, right now, top Travis County leaders are gathering to announce April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. The sheriff, the county judge, and district attorney will talk about the importance of communities working together to support families right here in our area.
Meanwhile, a Texas nonprofit is joining us today to explain how it's taking a different approach to try and protect children in our city and get families those resources. It has established what is called a child well-being zone in the Rundberg neighborhood here in Austin. So here to explain more about what this means and how it works is Kyle Kerrigan with Upbring. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Avery. Lovely to be here.
So let's start there. What is a child well-being zone, and maybe how is it different from other models that folks might be familiar with to try and prevent child abuse?
Yes, well, we hope everyone is paying attention to Child Abuse Prevention Month. Last April, our innovation team was asking something a little bit different. We tend to ask bold questions in our space, and we said, well, what if you didn't just prevent the abuse from taking place? What if you prevented children from ever being separated from their families, being removed from their communities, and ultimately placed in foster care? He said, well, that's a pretty intriguing idea. How would we even go about doing that? And a year later, we have two well-being zones, one right here in Austin, as you mentioned.
So talk to us about how you identify families or children who are at risk of removal. How do you go about bringing them into this conversation to make sure they're centered?
Well, it starts at a high level. We looked at all of Travis County, and we call this a more targeted or precision-based approach. We said, well, we have limited dollars, we are a nonprofit, and where are we gonna actually do this work if we're gonna try the solution? Let's go to where it's needed most. We identified a few neighborhoods in Austin where there were just higher removal rates or higher instances of abuse and neglect than we would typically expect. And then we started talking to people. We started talking to City Hall and said, hey, we think these are areas where we might make this investment, where we might invest in this solution. And they were pretty blown away when we told them about 5% of the city's area has acute rates of abuse and neglect, or about 50% of it. So that means we really should be more targeted. And then when it comes down to the individual family level, I mentioned we have two of these well-being zones. Well, we're trying different things in each. And here in Austin, we're working with the schools. One of those schools is Woodridge Elementary School. There's a few different elementary schools and middle schools in the Rundberg area, or zip code 78758. And we're talking with those people that really know families well, those principals, those school counselors, and saying, who are you up late at night worried about? Well, we would be interested in helping those families.
Now, it's been a year exactly since you all launched that effort in the Rundberg neighborhood. So a year in, can you talk to us about some of those metrics of success that are kind of guiding your progress now?
Yeah, so one of the main things we focus on at Upbring is our children are improving or maintaining their well-being while they're in our care. That is first and foremost the goal. Put the child first. And we're very proud to say to date, of the 8 children we've enrolled, 100% have improved or maintained their well-being, but it looks a little bit different for every child. Every child has unique needs. And then we're looking at other things. Are the families accomplishing their goals, their family well-being plan goals on time? We have a family come into care, and we look at every member in the household, the children, but also the caregivers. If grandma's a part of the household, is grandma a part of this equation? We believe so, because they're related to that child's life and in that child's immediate environment. We say, what do they need to accomplish? And then we also look at how much are we actually resourcing that family in direct dollars, but also services? How many providers are we connecting them with? And how does that mature over the progress of the plan? And couple other things that might just be really obvious, but are they welcoming us into their home? Because that's an important part of the process of actually developing a relationship. So number of times we're visiting the home. And then ultimately, do they leave our care, right? We want to see those families really graduate from the program in about a year. And so far we're on track for all 3 families we've served.
So talk to us a bit about the biggest challenges or barriers that you have faced over the last year in, continuing this effort.
Well, one is probably pretty obvious. No one's heard of this. It's brand new. It's never been done before. This type of place-based work where we are focused on a neighborhood is kind of unique. And so even getting the word out has been a little hard. So we have a wonderful person doing community engagement, Kimberly Holiday, that is out in the community representing our brand, but also helping people understand what the program is. But another challenge, might be a little surprising, which is there's a lot of people that need help. We're trying to manage the enrollment, but one of the things that's really important to us when we started this is we're going to go one family at a time, one household at a time. Make sure we are serving that household well and we're seeing positive outcomes before enrolling the next family. This is truly a family by family, block by block approach that is a little bit different from others in our space that go, let's serve 100 people this year. We are not saying that. We are saying we're going to do well by the people we're serving right now before we enroll the next family.
So it definitely seems like a careful, prolonged approach to be able to keep this project going. But we mentioned a few moments ago that the first established zone was up in Dallas. What successes happened there that allowed you to think, let's try this here in Austin now?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones was the City Hall was very interested. There was a council member we spoke to up in Dallas, council member Zarin Gracie, that said, wow, this is phenomenal. I haven't heard anything like this. So part of it was that immediate feedback. Another was our approach to innovation. Frankly, what we try to do is really test, experiment, and iterate and pivot quickly in real time. So we learned things in Dallas that we're applying here in Austin. We learned things in Austin that we're applying up in Dallas so that way both are moving along at a more efficient and effective clip. But ultimately it came down to we are just a little bold and aspirational, and we're going to go big.
Speaking of going big, is this something you hope to replicate in other cities, or is this something that even folks in other states can look at and use as a roadmap, do you think?
Certainly. We think there's many opportunities in other Texas cities to try and scale this approach. We think there's other areas in Austin where we could have multiple well-being zones in Austin. Ultimately, the goal is, can we eradicate the need for foster care in this zip code in 5 years? Pretty ambitious goal, to be sure. But if we can be effective here, there's really no stopping us, right? There's need all across the country, but especially in Texas and our major cities, there might be 5 or 6 places where you could have well-being zones. And ultimately, if those communities can take up the mantle of child well-being, we think this changes things for generations to come.
Now, before we let you go for this afternoon, talk to us about what stories stand out to you from the families and the children that are helped by the program. Is there anything that really jumps out to you at this moment that you wanted to share?
Yeah, one, at least in Austin here, I mentioned we were working with the schools. We were talking with a school counselor about this child is experiencing some anxiety, some withdrawal, and this is a single mother household. And what we saw over about 4 months was that child's emotional symptoms start to wane. We saw improvement in more activation in the classroom. We saw tardiness diminish. We saw school absenteeism diminish. And that came from partly working with the child, but also working with mom on daily routines. How do we establish those things that give normalcy, but also stability to the household? And those things you can see, if we didn't do that, they compound over time. And that ultimately is what might lead to an allegation of neglect or maybe abuse. And that's exactly what we're trying to prevent.
Kyle, we could keep you here all day. This is incredible work you're doing, and really cool to hear that tangible example of how a family's been impacted. So thank you so much. Kyle Kerrigan again with Upbring, and we will have more information on our website, KXAN.com, about these child wellbeing zones.
Thank you.